You're listening to After the Review.
After the review.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
Well, the Antonio Brown saga may not be over, but I think we may have reached the peak. The NFL has suspended Antonio Brown. I'm going to break down how long the suspension is, what this could mean for teams moving forward, and take a look back at this past year and a half or so of Antonio Brown that's been just a roller coaster. But if you could, like this video, share it on social media, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to make sure you get these daily update videos. I really appreciate it, guys. It helps out the channel a lot. But let's read from CBS Boston. Antonio Brown suspended for 8 games by the NFL. Last week, Antonio Brown publicly pleaded with the NFL to make disciplinary decisions regarding his status in the league. On Friday, his wish was granted, though he may not like the answer. The wide receiver has been suspended for 8 games for multiple violations of the league's personal conduct policy. The suspension will begin week 1, regardless of whether or not he's employed by a team at that point. The league's announcement has also noted that any future violations of the policy will likely result in more significant discipline. So basically, if anything else happens with Antonio Brown, you can suspect he's done for a year. He'll be out 16 games. So this is really the last straw for him, I bet. Brown was also directed to continue his counseling and treatment. He is expected to fully cooperate with his clinicians, the statement read. This is really important. I desperately think that there's some mental health issues going on with Antonio Brown. I'm not a professional. It just seems like he has a lot going on in his life, and he really needs to have help worked out with counseling and treatment. Antonio Brown hasn't played since week 2 last year with the Patriots, so he's essentially got a year and a half suspension from the NFL. They've been dragging their feet on this thing. He's retired. He's unretired. He was begging, like, you can't hold me out this long. You need to lay down punishment. So he has some closure finally. 8 games. Now teams can know. I don't know if the Seahawks are going to make a move for him. I know the Ravens are interested in him. He's a good addition if he can get his stuff together. But let's just take a look back at this past year and a half because it's been a long year and a half for him. Right, so March 2019, he requested a trade from the Steelers, and they dealt him to Oakland for draft picks. Everyone was stunned by this. He had a holdout last year for the last game of the season with Pittsburgh, or 2 years ago with Pittsburgh, and that led to the trade. In July, he reported the Raiders camp, but he couldn't practice because he had the weird frostbite on both of his feet from apparently not wearing shoes in the cryo chamber. And this whole Raiders relationship never had a good start. He then threatened to retire in August because of his helmet, and they wouldn't allow him to wear his preferred model because it was older than 10 years and not certified for game action. He lost his grievance, and he said he was going to be, and then Mike Mayock, the GM for the Raiders, called in. He needs to be all in or all out. Reports came out that he was suspended by the Raiders because he was posting conduct detrimental to the team. He then posted a YouTube video that included a recording of a phone call between him and John Gruden. Got a lot of pushback. Day before the season opener, he asked the team to release him. They cut it. The Raiders cut him. They just didn't want to deal with it. He then, of course, signed with the Patriots. Typical Patriots move. Then he played 1 game for the Patriots, caught a touchdown pass from them. It was looking good. Things started to take a turn for the worse, though. After he got signed by the Patriots, he was accused of raping his former trainer. Sports Illustrated did an investigation and faced additional sexual assault allegations. The Patriots cut ties with him right then and there. Then he tried out in December with the Saints, but he called the workout a publicity stunt. See, Antonio Brown, it seems like his behavior has been super erratic all over the place, and I think he really needs help. He needs somebody to talk to. Don't get me wrong, the life of a superstar is nice and glorious, but it can be difficult, especially if those in your circle aren't there to talk to. There's a lot of worrying behavior here, though. Brown's all over social media. He had issues in the past with Pittsburgh, but January is when he's been out of football for the year, essentially, and things started getting bad. Series of disturbances in Hollywood, Florida, where Brown resides. Most notably, he gets into an altercation with his ex-girlfriend with their children present. The police arrive on scene. He live streams the video of himself cursing out of the police. Said the police were not happy with him. It was bad. Then a moving truck driver accused Brown and his trainer of battery. His trainers arrested on charges of burglary and battery show that Brown initially refused to pay a $4,000 fee he owed the driver for moving some of his things to California to Florida. When the driver attempted to leave Brown's things, Brown allegedly threw a rock at the truck. Brown refused to pay for the damages. And then in January, there was an arrest warrant issued for Brown, and he turned himself in. He's retired and unretired multiple times during this span. A lot of troubling behavior from him. This is erratic. And that seems to be the consistent report. Ever since he's gotten paid, got this big money, he comes from very humble beginnings. Played at Central Michigan, super small school, was a 7th-round draft pick, I believe. But he feels like he doesn't have to pay anything, and everyone knows he doesn't owe anybody anything. And he's very entitled, people said, and that's not good. I really hope he gets the help that he deserves. Maybe he can move past this. Hopefully he's moved on. I'm all for guys getting a second chance, especially if there's things going on in their life and they can talk it out and they follow the protocols and they're really making a good effort to improve themselves. But like the NFL said, if he slips up again, it's going to be significant discipline. This is his last shot. Hopefully he gets that through. He has a little bit of closure, knowing what his suspension is. Some teams know what they're getting into if they sign him. And I really wish that he gets himself healthy and mentally right before he gets back into the league. And I hope he can be productive. I know I felt the same way with Josh Gordon when he dealt with his drug issues. I root for guys, especially if they're having trouble, and I'm all for second chances and them learning from, it's not some mistakes. I don't know what the allegations are and if they're true or not, but I hope he gets the help he needs, and I hope everything works out for him. But if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.